Hi everybody, it's Dieter Sturm here from All Season Extreme, and today we're going to be talking just very informally about synthetic ski slopes and how this new technology can actually grow the ski industry and the snowboarding industry here in the United States. I've been involved with snow for a long time. In fact, my background and career is I'm a special effects coordinator for motion pictures and TV, and I've been doing this for over 35 years. I've won an Academy Award for creating the first biodegradable snow for the motion picture industry, and through all the years, we're known kind of as the snowmakers in this particular industry. I'm kind of nicknamed a lot of times, hey, the snowman. And we've made millions and millions of pounds of snow, real snow, artificial snow, you name it, blizzards and falling snow for over 100 motion pictures, hundreds of TV commercials, still photo projects, special events. So we kind of know snow. So one of the things about creating snow and winter environments is all the materials and the design. Now, probably 15, 20 years ago, in my head, I started thinking about, well, how come we don't have snow, synthetic snow for like skiing and snowboarding? So I did some research online, and this was in the early years of the internet, and I started seeing some synthetic slopes. They actually called them dry slopes that were actually around the UK and parts of Europe. So my wife and I decided we're going to take a trip over there. We're going to take a look at these surface systems and see what they are and how they act, and if it's something here the United States should actually take a look at and consider. Well, we went over there, and I have to say we were fairly disappointed in looking at these slopes. They were usually pretty short as far as the runs go. They were pretty dirty and filthy. They were actually created from carpeting, from extruded plastic. My favorite was the brush industry, the brushes. There was actually a slope over there that had 30,000 scrub brushes flipped upside down and screwed onto a big slope ramp, and they sprayed some green kind of slimy soap on it, and that was your ski hill. And it was no fun. I mean, it really had no performance. It was just just kind of a novelty in a sense, but they actually were building kind of an industry from the demand. So came back to the United States and said, okay, this is not something that's going to really be all that great around here, and the people wouldn't really accept that type of surface here. And actually, there was one or two maybe synthetic slopes in the late 60s and the 70s that were tried here in the States, but really kind of fell to the wayside just because it just didn't work. And so as I continued my research through the years, as I always do on a global basis, because I always like to know what the new technology of snowmaking is and winter creation, and I came across some YouTube videos from this group over in the UK called Britain Engineering Developments, and they were working on something called SNOWFLEX. And it's like, okay, I've never heard of this before. And I was watching some tests of it, and it was like, okay, kind of worked. Back to the drawing board. And what was really cool about these guys was the fact that they were developing and designing and manufacturing this surface system to be specific for skis and snowboards. This was not something that was already out there, like the brushes, like some plastic molding, things that already existed, and then they just kind of modified to try to make it work for skis and snowboards. And so as engineers, they said, let's do the best we can to take all the elements and properties of real snow, and how would that relate and translate to something that's designed and manufactured, synthetically. So they did their whole entire list. I want to say on a napkin. That's probably where these guys started from, but a clean sheet of paper, and said, okay, we need such things as performance. We need durability. We need flexibility to make it interesting. We need things that will provide safety to it, so that when you fall, it's not like hitting the concrete. Let's try to find kind of a happy medium to what snow is about. Snow can be anything from one end of powder to the other end of ice. So let's try to find that middle ground there, and we'll work from that as what we're going to try to accomplish in the surface. So for years they tried, and actually, because nobody was out there making this type of surface, they actually, and I was quite impressed also, is the fact that they came up with the actually machinery to create and manufacture and produce these surface system prototypes. And they were using something actually called PBT monofilament. And I was watching some tests of this, and it turns out that this fiber material is even stronger than Teflon. And you're going, wow, that's really interesting. That's kind of cool. So they looked at also the quality of the surface system, the material, even to the extent of looking at, is it UV rated, so that when the sunlight's actually hitting the surface for years and years on end, it's not going to actually break down and get brittle. So UV stabilized was even something in the mix. Like, again, these guys are engineers, so they're looking at every possible, aspect and element of trying to create the best surface they can. So they went back to the drawing board multiple times. I remember all of a sudden one day watching a video of Brian Thomas skiing down SNOWFLEX, another prototype sample slope, and it worked. It just, like, everything was in place, because Brian's a very, very good skier, and he knows what to expect out of a surface when he's actually riding it. And I remember his words were, "My God, we got it!" And it was like, this was just like a brilliant light bulb, moment, as I'm saying to myself, my gosh, this guy just created something that will actually change the ski and snowboard industry. It will grow the entire industry. This is going to actually take, it to a whole brand new level that we've never seen before in snow and winter sports. So I was so excited about this, and I'm kind of a visionary type of guy, so I'm looking at things like, wow, this is what he has right now, but what can this be, and what will this be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now? So I decided to take a trip over to the UK and actually try to meet Brian Thomas and his staff, and actually say, I want to check this out. I want to see what you're doing. This is absolutely incredible. So it worked out where the invitation was accepted. Yvonne and I, my wife, we went over to the UK to not only see the manufacturing industry and company and machinery and product and this cool startup business, but also to ride some of the SNOWFLEX slopes that were actually up and operating, as I've been a skier for a good share of my life. In fact, actually, I was the ski club president back in high school. So I love skiing. I always had a good time skiing. And so I was very intrigued about actually getting on a slope over there in the UK. So after touring the plant and facility and getting to meet Brian and all the other team members of Britain Engineering, I was like really stoked to go out there and try SNOWFLEX for myself. And I have to say, the first run or two was just kind of like weird, and you know, your mind is saying I'm skiing, but I'm actually not on snow, or actually not in sub-zero cold temperatures outside. So you have to kind of wrap your brain around it and say, let me just try to see what I can do here, run after run. And I'll say it probably takes a good 5-10 runs at least to kind of wrap your head around what you're doing and what your equipment can actually do on this surface. And I would say from a standpoint of real snow versus synthetic snow, it's maybe a little more technical, because you may have to think about things a little bit, or you may have to change your weight distribution a little bit. But it's all for the really good, because when you then get back to real snow, snow is even easier to ride on after you ride a synthetic for months on end in the off season. So there's a lot of cool bonus to, you know, that part of it. So I came back to the United States after just loving what I did there, and I started kind of my quest as a rep for Britain Engineering and SNOWFLEX to bring the word out across the United States and say, hey, here's just great opportunity to jump on a brand new business, or to expand your current business that you have going already. So one of the first projects I got to work with was a university in Lynchburg, Virginia. They're called Liberty University, and they're one of the largest Christian schools in the world, actually. And they came to me, and it was actually kind of an unrelated topic to synthetics. They said, hey, Dieter, you know, we know that you design and build, you know, interesting types of projects. We want to build a ski slope. We know that you deal with some used equipment. That's probably maybe what we'd be looking at to begin with. And talk to us about skiing and snowboarding. And I said, okay, where are you guys located? And they go, well, Lynchburg, Virginia. And I said, okay, let's just do a little bit of background, you know, data research on your location. So we did that, and it came up to like, wow, you know, you've got maybe 60 or 62 days of winter weather, you know, temperatures and conditions, you know, that would be conducive for snowmaking and actually, you know, holding snow. And I said, okay, so here's what you're looking at, is you're looking at investing X amount of $1 million to build this ski slope, which you want to do as a sports division for Liberty University. But you're going to only be able to kind of use it 2 months out of the year if, you know, if conditions work right, and, you know, invest in, you know, good snowmaking equipment and guns and pumps and so forth. But let me just throw an idea at you. I said, have you ever considered a synthetic ski slope? And at that time, it's like nobody knew anything about it. And they said, well, we're interested. Talk to us about it. So I explained to them that, you know, this type of slope will give you the opportunity to teach on, to, you know, learn on, to practice on, to compete on, and just even just fun ride on. And the bonus is that you're going to be able to keep this slope open and operating 12 months a year, despite what the weather is. I mean, if it snows on it, it's even going to be bonus because now, you're a brand new ski resort or ski slope with real snow. But when the snow goes away for the other, 10 months out of the year, you're still a ski slope and still operating. So that was kind of interesting and intriguing because they're saying, so our investment, will actually give us access to using this investment 12 months a year instead of actually only 2 months a year. So that kind of makes some just logical sense. So they went over to the UK and to Europe and checked out Britain Engineering. They checked out some of the slopes that were operating out there in the UK. And they came back and they said, you know what? We're going to give it a shot. We think that we did all of our due diligence and our homework, and everything basically makes sense to us. So they did a contract to build the first SNOWFLEX ski and snowboard center here in the United States. The project went extremely well. The design was exceptional. The bunny slopes just used beyond comprehension. And I remember actually they start off with a phase 1 to see how well this would work, with anticipation that maybe in a year or two they would go to phase 2 and make it larger and expand it, and then even phase 3 possibly down the road. And the opening week, I remember that I was out there. They had a soft opening for the entire month of August, and the opening was actually going to be the last weekend of August. And so I was down there a few days ahead of time, and the chancellor came up and said to me, Dieter, this is absolutely way beyond our comprehension of popularity and use right from the get-go. So based on what we've already seen over the last 3.5 weeks, this coming Saturday is our grand opening. So on Monday, start phase 2. And we were just like, wow, just blown away, because little did we think that this would all of a sudden just grow so quickly. So this template for a urban year-round ski slope and ski resort has been operating now for over 10 years. This is September 25th, 2021, and literally tens of thousands of brand new people have been introduced into skiing and snowboarding because of this one specific location and slope. Countless competitions have taken place. They've done TV shows on the slope. Vendors and new manufacturers have had opportunities to present brand new products. The actual lodge and facility have hosted all different types of ski and snowboard associations. They've done summer camps where countless kids, I mean, they've grown double and tripled year after year the size of these summer camps, which you would never be able to do anywhere else, and even especially in warm winter regions. And they've been able to create revenues and profits from the slope. And it's just not even just the slope time, but now you're talking such things as revenues from rentals, from teaching and lessons. I mean, even look at all the instructors that now all of a sudden get to work 12 months a year. There's employees that now are working 12 months a year and employed, not laid off as seasonal people. So they get to work 12 months a year. And there's all these cool revenue streams and opportunities that have been created just from this one synthetic slope. And we can go into a lot of discussions about the technical aspects, but it works. The slope works. It's truly the most high performance synthetic slope on the planet in comparison to other types of surfaces that are out there and much less costly. And that's another big, discussion too. Wow, SNOWFLEX is so expensive. But boy, actually run the numbers. Once you start looking at the numbers of being open 12 months, the numbers of being open so many hours a day, all the different types of revenue streams that come in from the operations of this slope, and then offering high quality, high performance surface for skiing and snowboarding, the money and all the returns make a lot of sense. You got to look deep into it. You got to do your homework on it. And many people have not. They just look at the quick buck and put something in cheap, and it fails. And we've had to fix a lot of different projects overseas just because of that. So I could just go on for hours, quite honestly, talking about the benefits. I'm just going to throw a few more out here. I think the fact that you can stay open 12 months a year is a whole game changer. If you look at actually, the growth chart across the ski and snowboard industry, it's almost flat. It's actually plateaued. I mean, you're in 3 or 4 months of the year of winter and snow season. You're in only certain geographic regions, and that's it. You're dependent on Mother Nature to give you the cold temperatures to make snow, or hope that Mother Nature is cooperative enough to, give you real snow. And that's it. You're just at the mercy of Ma Nature then. Now, just think if you can go outside that box and actually offer skiing and snowboarding another 8, 9, 10 months out of the year. Wow, that's like a game changer. And this is not like something that, you're trying to reinvent. This is real sports. This is traditional sports that have been around for ages. I mean, it's sports that are in the Olympic Games. Skiing, snowboarding, so you're not trying to reinvent or create something brand new that doesn't exist. This is something that you can actually expand on. And this is nothing less than opportunity. Now, when I got into the involvement of bringing SNOWFLEX to the United States, man, I thought the ski resorts would be jumping all over this. And I have to honestly say, I was shockingly surprised at the little interest, because they were just so hyper-focused on their 3 or 4 months, and there's so much involved in that 3 to 4 months. They got blinders on, and I get it. That's their season, that's their focus. That's what they've been doing for ages and forever. So to try to grasp some of their time and really sit down and talk about expanding outside the season, that's a pretty difficult nut to crack. But I think now the eyes are starting to open up, and I think that I've had some good positive discussions with the NSAA and the Ski Association and Snowboard Associations, and they too are also looking for, what do we do? How do we expand? How can we be visible 12 months a year? How can we be accessible 12 months a year? How can we grow brand new riders, for the future? So I just kind of encourage everybody to, if you have some interest in this, if you're working at a ski resort and you're in management, or, you're involved in teaching skiing and snowboarding, if you're a brand new developer, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're with the parks and recreation, industry across the country. Even if you're with a university in college that wants to expand your sports, we can do it. I've seen it done. It's actually been proven from Liberty. These guys have been coming back with both male and female, gold and bronze and silvers, in intercollegiate competitions, and they're not even a ski resort. They just are able to ride 12 months a year. So the practice and teaching and training is just absolutely insane. So, my gosh, take a look at SNOWFLEX.com, SNOWFLEX.com. Check it out. It's very involved. Get deep into the entire website because it's really heavily involved for developers. And if you're interested in just from a standpoint of just ridership and, I just want to check out the whole scene, go on YouTube. Just type in SNOWFLEX. Man, there's hundreds of videos out there. And you'll see, just people having fun. And then even to the extent of, let's really check this out. Let's really review this. We've had, reports from, Snowboarder magazine that have sent, secret groups out to test it out. And what is this? And check it out. And they come back like, thumbs up. This is really cool. This does work. We've had guys like, Louis Vito, top of the line, X Games, Olympics, Dancing with the Stars. Louis's been there through everything. And he tested it out. I was out there one day with Louis and his team. And same thing. At first he's like, well, I don't know about this. And by the afternoon, he was riding with all the local, pros out there. And we couldn't get him off the slope. It's like, Louis, we got to get to the airport. You got a flight. Get him off the slope. So there's testimonials. There's, a lot of data. There's research. Everything that shows that SNOWFLEX, is not only the world's most leading synthetic, slope system, multi-layer, and also the fact that the opportunity to take skiing and snowboarding into a whole brand new realm truly exists. It's been proven time and time again over in the UK and Europe. So now let's bring it here to the United States. Let's get it going here in our own country because it's just nothing but less than opportunity. So check out snowflex.com. If you got any questions, you can track me down, Dieter Sturm, and I'll get you guys up to date with everything that's going on with SNOWFLEX. Hey, thanks a lot for watching today, and let's just get skiing and snowboarding going and expanding and growing here in the United States like we've never seen it before. Thanks, everybody.